Okay, here's your sprinkler system, 13D system. Got the inch and a quarter coming into the building. So if you notice all that plastic that's laying over the top of the pipe, that's mainly for areas where it could be potential freezing. So that plastic creates a barrier for the blown in insulation that gets blown in so it doesn't fall off the pipe when it's being blown in. So once again, and here's the riser again. There is no backflow because this is what they call a passive system, which I'll explain later. Here we have a situation where you have these little insulation pipe insulations over the in the area over the on the pipe. This is a close-up picture of this that you can pretty much get like at Home Depot. It just kind of goes around the pipe. But this is not for freezing. This is mainly so that if you could take a look, there's wires going across our pipe. That's so that we put those little foam insulators in there to keep the wire off the pipe. That's just required in this jurisdiction. I'm not positive if that's an NFPA code. I don't think it is, but this is how we do it in this jurisdiction. Is we just, use a foam padding that goes around the pipe, keeps the wires off the pipe. There's, I'm sure, plenty of reasons why the wires shouldn't be on the pipe. Here's just another picture of a sprinkler head next to what someone might think is a heater, but it's not. It's an air return. Just showing you, we got a sprinkler head in the bathroom. It's just right off the wall, more than 4 inches, which is the code. Here we have the toilet piping for the plumbing going up the wall here, and this is what we call the passive system on a 13D, where the toilet is actually hooked up to the fire sprinkler system. And so every time they flush the toilet, the water cycles through the sprinkler system. And I guess the idea in this jurisdiction, the reason behind it is so that there's no stagnant water, which could create bacteria and what have you. Here's another situation in this jurisdiction where they require flowing 2 sprinkler heads. There's one right there at the top of the video page, and down by the door there's another one, and if you notice there's a valve on it. And what we do is we open those valves at the same time and run them down into a trash barrel that has marks, which I'll show you here in a second, and that just flows the water into those barrels simultaneously, and they run it for a minute, and then they can calculate how many gallons that flowed into that trash barrel, and that just shows the inspector that the system is worthy of water demand. Here's another close-up picture of the valve. These are just temporary. They'll take them off after an inspection. And so here's the barrel, and it's got little marks that 1 gallon increments. So when they're flowing, they just after the 1 minute they see where that water sits, and that tells them how many gallons flowed in that 1 minute. It's just how they do it here in this jurisdiction. Water calculations is another way of doing it, but this is how they prefer to do it so they can get a real life proof that the water is going to meet the water requirements out of those sprinkler heads. So, thanks for watching, guys.